Welcome to another edition of Panther Sports Talk right here on WIU. Today's program will recap last week's win at Austin Peay. We also talk with Alex Helms, one of the defensive stars from the game. All that and much more as we preview the upcoming homecoming game against Southeast Missouri right here on Panther Sports Talk on WIU.
Production for Panther Sports Talk is brought to you in part by Johnson's Automotive Service is a proud supporter of Panther Sports on WEIU. Johnson's is a complete car facility for all your automotive repair and maintenance needs. Johnson's Automotive Service, keeping your life running.
Welcome back to another edition of Panther Sports Talk right here on WIU. I'm your host, Rich Moser, joined by EIU football coach Dino Babers. And Coach, a win at Austin Peay last week on Thursday night, kind of a midweek game. It gave you guys an opportunity to kind of a little bit different approach in the fact that you were able to rest guys really one game over the last 3 weeks to try to get over some of those nicks and injuries that you've had early in the season.
Yeah, it really came at a great time. The Thursday night game was a great venue. I know that they had fall break coming up after that, so there was a really nice crowd, and we had an opportunity to play the game on Thursday and move it to Saturday with no crowd, which would have been a big advantage to us. But, these young men, they only get 12 to 13 opportunities unless they get a chance to play in the playoffs. These guys' senior years, I couldn't understand why not letting them play in front of a full house. I mean, that's what football should be played in front of, is a full house. And even though it was a little bit of a disadvantage, we decided to go down there and play the Thursday night game, and luckily for us, it worked out all right.
Now, you guys go down there and you play a night game, and this is a little different, and it's a little bit different in the fact that you had played all night games. You came back, played a 1:30 afternoon game against Eastern Kentucky. Do you have to change your prep a little bit, one, for the midweek game, but then two, get your guys reaccustomed that we're going to play at night, so you're going to have all day to sit around, whereas these afternoon games, it's a pretty tight schedule to get up, eat, and get ready for the game.
Well, you can tell, Rich, that I'm a pretty nervous cat. I mean, you sat next to me enough. As a coach, you want to wake up and play the game. As players, they probably want to play night games because that's more like an NFL venue and it's cooler, and you normally have bigger crowds. But as a coach, it makes me nervous all day long waiting for a 7 o'clock kickoff or a 6 o'clock kickoff at night. But we change a little bit based off the Thursday. And we change a little bit based off of Saturday at a 1:30 start. But for the most part, we kind of stay the same.
Now, coaches, I know, and players are kind of creatures of habit once you kind of get into a routine. So you've got to be happy, your coaching staff got to be happy to get back to at least playing on Saturdays now, where you can get into what I would consider a normal routine. A Sunday's a certain day, a Monday's off, and then so on and so forth the rest of the week.
We're definitely creatures of habit, and after now we're back on our normal schedule, and we'll play on Saturdays and watch tape on Sundays, have Mondays off, and basically go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and roll it back into another Saturday game. So they want structure. They've got their structure back. Hopefully the record will look as good on the back half of the season as it has on the first.
Now, when you guys came out, I know one of the things that you were worried about a little bit, and you had mentioned in your press conference, is when you have that layoff, sometimes the team that has a layoff has a slow start. You guys were determined that was not going to be the case there at Austin Peay. You came out and scored in about a minute and 20 seconds on about 4 plays, and it looked like the offense hadn't missed a step.
Well, I'll tell you what, over the break we were really, really concerned about that, and we scrimmaged ones versus ones a lot over the breaks. We actually got some bumps and some bruises on some starters doing it, but I thought it was really important that we tried not to have that lull where we had to start to get going. I know Austin Peay is going to explode on someone, and we just wanted to do everything we could possibly do in our practice preparation to make sure that we could get off to a fast start.
And you guys did get off to a fast start. Another game in where you scored a number of points in the first quarter and a lot of points in the first half. 28-7 in the first quarter and I think 42 in the first half. At that time, when you go into halftime, what's the speech to the guys on making sure that they don't lose focus? And I know you had mentioned over and over last week that all it takes is one guy not paying attention and missing an assignment, and a player's out and the whole season changes in the blink of an eye?
Well, basically, I let the coaches go over their halftime adjustments. Then I had everybody step out, and I shut the door, and then I had a deep conversation with the football team. There were some things that I thought we did extremely well. There were some things that I was very concerned about, and I wanted to make perfectly clear how I felt about it. And I wanted to make sure that those things were rectified in the second half. I thought the young men came out in the second half and did an excellent job, starters and backups, in carrying that game. I had a much better feeling after that football game than I did the second half of EKU.
Now, one of the things in that game that it looked like you were able to do on the defensive side of the ball, and I know with the amount of snaps they play on the field, you probably were happy about this, is it looked in the first quarter that Kim McLeod, probably in consultation with you, started to rotate a lot earlier than he normally does, some of his 2s and 3s that were on the trip, to make sure that guys were fresh throughout the game on defense. And I look at the stat sheet at the end of the game, and a starter like Pat Wirtz and Dino Fonte, they have a half a tackle each, which means it's not that they weren't effective, it's that they didn't have to be out there a lot, which is probably good for them in the long run.
It's really good. We got a chance to play a lot of guys on defense, a lot of guys that deserve to play. And that saved some of the bumps and bruises for the second half of the season. I was really excited that Coach McLeod did that. And to the other guys' credits, we were able to roll some of those young men in there and not have much of a drop-off.
Now, the thing that you were able to do on the offensive side of the ball is you guys really seem to kind of work on some certain things. And I kind of watched the game, and there are probably some things that you could have done that you didn't do. Maybe were there things that you guys were really trying to just kind of make sharper certain plays or certain sets once the kind of game was in hand in your favor?
You know, not really, Rich. I mean, you would think that maybe we should have a plan like that. We treat every game like it's going to be a tough thing. It's going to be a tough win. And when we're out there, we're trying to score points. We're not necessarily trying to get the ball to a certain individual. We're not necessarily trying to run the ball or throw the ball or do this or do that. We're actually out there looking at the defense, trying to find tendencies and trying to score points. And that's what we do every single series until it gets to a part of the game where that's not necessary.
Now, you guys scored 63 there again, second time against Austin Peay in 2 years. You guys have scored over 60. You guys now come back home. The offense has got to kind of feel good about themselves, but you play a different team and a different style now in Southeast Missouri. And how do you kind of, I guess, bring the guys back to earth and get them to refocus now on what the task at hand?
They should already be down to earth. CMO had their first win of the year. They had a great win against a team that some people thought was one of the top three teams in this conference. And just like Austin Peay is going to explode on somebody, CMO exploded on that team. And now everybody's like, oh, CMO's good. Well, I could have told you before this week that CMO's good. They have the perfect system to get after us. They have the perfect system to be our bump in the road, and we need to be extremely focused, cross our T's, dot our I's. This football team is a well-coached football team. I've known Tony Samuels for over 25 years. We know what kind of football team is coming in here, and we need to be ready to go.
Now, one of the things I was going to ask you about is they did pick up that first win of the year and kind of get that monkey off their back, so to say. One of the questions I was going to ask you is, does that help a little bit when you play a team like this now that they're still going to go all out to try to get a win, but maybe they're not pressing as much because now they've gotten that first win, whereas maybe some extra tricks get pulled out of the bag when you haven't won a game for the whole year?
Oh, I really think it's just the opposite, which is typical when you and I are talking. I think that after you get your first win and those young men know that they can win, I think it draws them closer together. And now they can be in a close game and they can go back on that week and say, hey, we can win this game just like we did the other game. Let's stay together and stay focused. I'd rather them not have had that win as far as playing them as a team, but what the win did do is it woke up Eastern Illinois University. It lets them know that, hey, these guys are a good football team coming in here, and you can be their next victim if you don't come out ready to play.
Now, you talked about Tony Samuel there, Nebraska guy. A lot of his assistants are Nebraska guys. When you think Nebraska, you think we're going to run the ball, we're going to play hard physical offense, hard physical defense. They're still doing that on the defensive side of the ball. It seems to be a little bit different offensively this year. I looked at their numbers the other day. They're close to 50-50 run pass, which is not typical for what they've done in years past.
Absolutely. They've got Lathrop, I believe, is their quarterback. They've got a kid that can throw the football. And now they have that passing dimension to their option game which unfortunately for us makes them even more dangerous. You know, they can run the ball, they can play action, throw off the runs. Do you stop? You load up the box to stop the run, and here comes the play action pass, carving you up. They've got some wideouts that are really athletic that can make some plays, and then they still have that black shirt defense running around, knocking the heck out of everything that moves. Really, really good football team. They're going to start to get on a roll. We hope they don't start getting on a roll until after Saturday. But they've got the makings of they're going to be a really good football team down the stretch.
Now, you mentioned Scott Lathrop. He's the quarterback that people saw last year. SEMO, in the way the schedule flipped over in the OVC, Southeast Missouri was here last year, so fans saw them. It was the game where you guys actually won the Ohio Valley Conference Championship by beating them in here at home. He went on to be the OVC Freshman of the Year. He didn't win the job going into spring. They had another quarterback, and they've kind of really battled back and forth. It appears until last week that maybe he won the job. Do you guys now have to still prepare for both quarterbacks, or is it maybe 60-40 that we think this guy is now going to be the established starter?
Unfortunately, we still have to prepare for both of them. Probably after this Saturday, if Lathrop plays the entire game again, then our next opponent will have the advantage of just preparing for Lathrop. But we've got a check and balance system. We've got to make sure we prepare for both, because we can't leave any stone unturned in the season that we're trying to have here at Eastern.
Now, the other thing that you kind of talk about with them is, we talked about it last week when you guys played Austin Peay. They had played Eastern Kentucky as a team you had film on. Southeast Missouri has played Southern Illinois. They played them the week, I think, after we played them. So you guys have that film. Does that help you a little bit in tendencies, or have they changed personnel trying to get that first win where you're really looking at this last week's game to try to establish what they do?
Well, it's really interesting. When you watch that game, they played it in the outfield of the St. Louis Cardinals, and the footing was awful. And I bet you if you were a St. Louis Cardinal fan on a game after that, they must have tore that field up. Not a great idea. But it was so much slipping and so much going on that you really didn't get a great read on how fast the defense was, or how fast they could react, or how athletic the people were in individual positions, because the slipping was just awful when you go back and look at that game. So it doesn't help us that much.
Now, homecoming, that's the thing we want to kind of talk about. You guys' goal, we've had sellout crowds the first 2 weeks. We want to be even better than that this week. I know a number of people have thrown out is about 15,000. I'm going to give you the opportunity, one, to talk about what homecoming means and maybe some extra pressures that surrounds the team when you guys have to keep them focused, but also give you one more time the plea there to get people to come out and try to help set that attendance record.
Well, first of all, homecoming is is the type of thing that brings not only the community together and the university together, but the football team with the university and with the community. And this team is a special team. I really believe it is, and I really believe that it needs to be set apart from other teams as special. And I don't know a better gift that we could give this football team than to give it the attendance record at the next game. We would love to set the attendance record at Eastern Illinois University at this homecoming game coming up. And for us to do that, we're going to need everybody in the university to be there. We're going to need the people who sometimes come to the game to make sure they're there. We're going to need the people who never come to a game to find a way to get there. I met two people in Starbucks this morning. They told me they were grandparents and they couldn't come to the game because they had to watch their granddaughter play a soccer game. So I stamped that as okay, but I asked them when I was leaving that they need to buy 4 tickets for their neighbor down the street so that they can attend the game. We want to make sure we get a turnout from Charleston, Mattoon, Effingham. We got to get all the professors back from Champaign. We know you're driving up there. We know you live up there. Drive back for the game. We've got to get the entire Coles County involved. And this football team is setting a lot of records on the football field. We would love for the community to come and join us and set a record in the attendance at this homecoming game.
Very good, Coach. There's your plea for the game. Hopefully everybody will be out there. The goal is 15,000. The record is 12,600. We were only about 1,000 off of that at the last home game. So it's not that it's not impossible to do, but we'd like to shatter it so teams down the road have even a bigger number to try to emulate.
Let's roll it up to 15. Let's make it a nice even number.
All right, 1:30 will be the kickoff. Eastern Illinois and Southeast Missouri, the 96th homecoming here at O'Brien Field. Be right back with This Week in EIU Athletics.
There's the snap. Here comes the blitz. Jimmy's going to throw it deep down the middle. Laura's out there. Got it. And he's on his way. Garoppolo burns the blitz. Touchdown, Eastern Illinois.
Eastern Illinois Panther football is on WEIU. EIU welcomes OVC rival Southeast Missouri State to O'Brien Field as the Panthers look to defend their conference crown. It's the Panthers and Redhawks Saturday at 1:30. WEIU is your home for Panther football. Panther fans, here's what's going on in Panther athletics. Panther football moved to 5-1 on the season and 2-0 in the OVC with a 63-7 win at Austin Peay last Thursday. Panther volleyball now 9-10 on the season and 3-3 in the OVC as they dropped OVC road matches at Morehead State and Eastern Kentucky. Women's soccer with a split on the road in OVC play. They lost 3-0 at Austin Peay and then pulled out a 2-1 win at Murray State. They're now 5-1 in the OVC. Men's soccer dropped 2 road matches in Summit League play last week, a 2-1 defeat in double overtime at Illinois Chicago, and a 3-1 defeat at IPFW. Women's rugby now 0-6 on the season as they fell at Tennessee 33-17. Women's swimming starts the season 1-0 with a 154-108 win at Padovan Pool over Butler. And men's swimming hosted an inter-squad meet at Padovan Pool this past weekend. Men's and women's golf were at the Butler Fall Invite. The men's squad placed 4th. Austin Sproles was the top EIU finisher in 5th place. The women placed 6th overall at the Butler Fall Invite. Tiffany Wolf was the top EIU finisher in 16th place for the women. Men's tennis with a split last weekend at the SIU Fall Classic. They won 5-2 against South Dakota State and fell to the host Salukis 5-2. Women's tennis competed at the ITA Regionals in Ann Arbor, Michigan this past weekend. Janelle Prisner and Sephora Bolbeheim finished with a 1-1 doubles mark. Now here's what to watch for this week. On Friday, women's soccer is at Lakeside Field for a 3 o'clock OVC match against Jacksonville State. Swimming is at St. Louis for a 5:30 meet. And Panther volleyball is at Lance Arena for a 7 o'clock match against OVC rival Austin Peay. On Saturday, cross country is in Terre Haute, Indiana for the NCAA pre-national meet at 10 o'clock. Also at 10 o'clock on Saturday, women's rugby is at Kentucky. And Panther football is at O'Brien Field for their homecoming game against Southeast Missouri State at 1:30. You can watch that game on WEIU TV or listen to it on Hitmix 88.9 WEIU. Panther volleyball at Lance Arena once again as they take on OVC rival Murray State at 6 o'clock. On Sunday, men's soccer is at Lakeside Field for a 1 o'clock match against Summit League rival Oral Roberts. And women's golf begins a 3-day run at the Dayton Fall Invite. On Monday, women's golf with day 2 at the Dayton Fall Invite. And on Tuesday, the women's golf team wraps up competition at the Dayton Fall Invite. And men's soccer is in DeKalb for a 7 o'clock game at Northern Illinois. For Panther Sports Talk, I'm Ramin Karbassioun.
We wrap up this week's segment of Panther Sports Talk with an interview with Alex Helms live from Clarksville after the Panthers' big 63-7 win. Also wrap up the show with some of the highlights from that game. Reminder, homecoming this weekend, Saturday, 1:30 p.m. Coach is going to ask you for a big attendance out there, try to set the stadium record. 15,000 is what our goal is. Hope to see you out there live, 1:30 at O'Brien Field. Thanks for watching, everybody. Welcome back to Panther Sports Talk. We're live on the road here in Clarksville. The Panthers a big 63-7 win over the Governors. And Alex, after a 10-day layoff, I guess, between games, it's got to be good to kind of come out and have the effort you guys had tonight.
Yeah, it was. It was really good that we got some rest. We got some guys rested that were injured, and we came out here and executed today, and that was the most important part. We treat every team the same, and we had a good scheme this week, and we got, like you said, 10 days to work on that. And we really just came out and executed today, and that's what we were trying to do.
Now, Alex, one of the senior linebackers on the team, came out, led the team with 10 tackles today. Kind of it looked like early on that Coach McLeod had decided that a lot of guys were going to play, especially when the offense put up a lot of points early.
Yeah, that's definitely true. That's our main goal. Every game is to get everyone involved and build our depth, and that's what Coach Babers always preaches, build our depth, and that's how we become better as a team. It's not always about the starters, and it is, but it's about everyone else too. That's how we get better as a team overall.
Now, last year, at the end of the season at Central Arkansas, you kind of filled in for Robert Haynes, came out with 15 or 16 tackles, came out tonight with double digits, not really replacing anybody, kind of just within the flow of the game, so you had to feel good about that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel good every time I'm out there. I think everyone felt good tonight, and, especially with a big lead, it's easy to play fast and, have fun out there, and that's what we were trying to do, and that's what we did do.
Now, the Panthers 4th in the country, chance to go up in the polls, another little bit of a layoff before you guys come back and play Southeast Missouri. kind of, Coach, any words of encouragement after the game on kind of how the next week's going to be approached?
You know, we treat every week the same, and we don't treat any team any differently, and we're just going to do our best and work out. I know we're practicing on Sunday already, so, you know, we're getting out there and right back at it. Everything's the same. We don't worry about anything else except the other team just getting wins.
Now, Southeast Missouri homecoming. Homecoming's always an important game, especially for you to be a senior, your last homecoming game. Any kind of things you're looking forward to? I know you're going to probably have some friends and family coming down.
Yeah, it's always fun to get the friends and family out there. You know, everyone will be cranked up and hopefully a big crowd. And, you know, we're just looking to have fun and get the crowd involved and hope it's loud and, you know, to get another victory.
Now, in addition to leading the team in tackles today, you're also named a captain, I think the special teams captain for today. Coach kind of picks those by week, so got to be a special honor for you to be picked during one of those weeks.
Yeah, it really was an honor, and you know, I really appreciate it by Coach doing that for me, and you know, it was just a great opportunity, and I was lucky that I had a great day today on the field also.
All right, Alex, best of luck the rest of the season. Congrats on the game today. Appreciate it. We'll be right back with more Panther Sports Talk on WEIU.
Ohio Valley Conference football for a Thursday night. It's the Eastern Illinois Panthers set to face the Governors of Austin Peay. There's a handoff up the middle. Duncan, good hold, 25-20, angles left, 15, 10, 5, dragging a man, touchdown Eastern Illinois. Taylor Duncan rambling through the middle, and it's a 27-yard touchdown run. Garoppolo under center, 3rd and goal at the 1. Here's the call. Garoppolo gives it Duncan right side, and he is over, I think. Touchdown, Eastern Illinois. Eastern linebackers dancing around. Now they drop back on 2nd down and 8. Now they come on the blitz. Up the middle, and Spivey falls down, lost the ball. Eastern recovers. Pat Wirtz has it. Spivey fell down, just lost the football as he was stumbling in the backfield, and Pat Wirtz up with the recovery for Eastern Illinois. Garoppolo back to pass, setting up a screen over the middle. Little at the 45, blockers in front, 40, 35, 30, Little, 25, 20, racing to the end zone. Touchdown, Eastern Illinois. A screen pass goes 43 yards for a touchdown, and I don't think they laid a hand on Little. Fake handoff, back, pressure up the middle. Now he's going to dodge a man, throws, hit as he throws, deep right for Laura. Leaping grab at the goal line, touchdown, Eastern Illinois. And that play, Eric Laura becomes the all-time receiving yards leader in Eastern Illinois history, surpassing Roy Banks, and that's a tremendous accomplishment for Eric Laura.
And it was fitting that it came on a touchdown scoring play.
And the Panthers lead at 27-0. No rush, kicks away, nice high spiral. Fair catch, Chapman lets it go over his head at the 10, bounces inside the 10. This is going to bounce down around the 5-yard line. Nice job for Weatherford. His brother is kicking for the New York Giants at Soldier Field tonight. Weatherford just made one that'll make his brother seem proud. Here's Sexton, 7 guys up front. They blitz him. He's being chased. Sexton rolling right, has to dump it off to the sideline. It is knocked away, incomplete on a good hit by McNulty. Sexton takes the snap, fake handoff, pass out on the right, caught by Clack, looking for blocking at the 30, and he's stopped right there by Pete Houlihan with a nice open field tackle. Houlihan came up aggressively after the catch. 2nd and 4, handoff Little. Again, pops through, 25-30, breaks loose, 40, up the middle, 50. Little, 45, brought down at the Austin Peay 40-yard line. Little got through the middle and then burst into the secondary for a nice big gain. Hand it to Little again, angling to the left at the 35, gets outside 30 to the 25, carrying a guy to the 24. It's another first down for Shepherd Little in Eastern Illinois. In the pistol again from the 1. Garoppolo is going to roll it and keep himself to the right. Dives forward. Touchdown, Eastern Illinois. Garoppolo with his first touchdown this season on a 1-yard keeper around the right end. Handoff to Williams, heading to the left. Met and stopped right around the line of scrimmage. Alex Helms again. Eastern's backup middle linebacker made the play. 3rd down, fumbled snap. It's loose. Eastern's got it inside the 10-yard line. 2nd time tonight. A quarterback from Austin Peay has had a ball handling error and lost the ball, and the Panthers make the recovery around the 9-yard line. It is Zeno Fonti who comes up, 2nd takeaway for the Panthers tonight, the 18th they've had this season. 3rd and goal from the 5. Over to the right, 3 wideouts left. Garoppolo back, looking to the left, going to fade in the corner. Laura leaping catch, and touchdown Eastern Illinois. Laura with a leaping catch in the deep left corner of the end zone. Garoppolo's 3rd touchdown tonight. Laura, his 2nd touchdown catch. Out of the pistol on 3rd and 2. Sexton drops back, some pressure. He's hit, and he is sacked at the 38-yard line. With the sack for Eastern was Fedney Delfons, I think, is the guy that got there. Here's the approach by Toby and the kick. High down the middle of the field. It'll go to Pendergrass at the 3-yard line. He's up to the 10, to the 15, dodge demand 20, pops through 25, 30, comes left, room to motor, 35, 40, Pendergrass at the 50, trying to beat the kicker at the 40, at the 30, 25, pulled down by the kicker Toby at the Austin Peay 20-yard line. Pendergrass turning on the speed after he popped through the middle that time. Garoppolo gives it to Little straight ahead. Did he get over? There's a big pile up. He's in. Touchdown, Eastern Illinois. First and goal from the 3, and there's movement before the snap. Garoppolo throwing into the end zone. Drake caught it in the back of the end zone. Touchdown, 3 yards. Garoppolo to Drake, and he was pretty well covered back there. Handoff, Franklin is tripped up for a loss as Alex Helms got through the line into the backfield and tripped up Franklin with an ankle tackle back at the 30-yard line. Throws a middle screen to Laura, room to roam, there's a penalty flag. Loris gets the 40, at the 30, at the 20. He's going to go all the way for a touchdown, but he's probably coming back. On a middle screen, Laura took the pass and just raced right through the middle of the Austin Peay defense for what would be a 66-yard touchdown if it stands. Final score tonight, Eastern Illinois wins in convincing fashion, 63-7 over Austin Peay.
Production for Panther Sports Talk is brought to you in part by Johnson's Automotive Service is a proud supporter of Panther Sports on WEIU. Johnson's is a complete car facility for all your automotive repair and maintenance needs. Johnson's Automotive Service, keeping your life running.